What's up, guys? Time for a little update on my Trans Am streetcar we've been working on. Show you some of the crazy stuff we have going. All right. This is my 427 LS7 based engine. I got this engine on a trade a good while back when I got rid of my Hemi. And my Trans Am here has been down because when I got rid of my Hemi, I took the motor I had in here and put in my Mazda. And that's what I've been running with my Mazda for a while now. So I finally decided to shove this engine in the Trans Am to get it back going. And this engine is just a little bit milder than my other engine, but should be still pretty close on power. Got the Frankenstein 710 heads on it. I just bought this BTR intake, which is absolutely amazing. This is the first one I've had in my hand, and man, this is, to be a cast intake, this is about as good as you can get without, well, I would say going billet is really not really much better, if any, because this intake, once it's powder coated, I mean, you wouldn't even be able to tell if somebody told you it was a billet intake. But I'm really impressed with it. It looks really good, fits really good. I bought it in just plain aluminum, and we powder coated it here because I like my powder coating better. We're going to pull these valve covers off pretty soon and re-powder coat them so they match. We got our liquid air intercooler here. This is one of the 2,000 horsepower ones from Shearer. I guess that's how you say his name. And the fun part. Y'all knew I was going to do something crazy. I've got my two 76mm comp turbos that are going to be vertically mounted because they do not have oil flowing to them. So it doesn't matter how they mount. And just so happens this turns out perfect on this car. Works like a champ. These air filters, these aren't going to work. These are just a hair bit too tall, but I've got some more on order that are a couple inches shorter, so that way they'll fit under the hood good. But the packaging is going to work so good. I got this rock solid Motorsports tubular front end, which freed up a ton of room. It allowed me to mount everything like I want it, to where everything is just going to be just super simple, and the plumbing is going to be simple. It gave me room to put a really big radiator, and this radiator shouldn't have any problem cooling. With the front nose on it, I'll be able to duct a lot of air through the radiator. It's got a good high flow fan on it, so that ought to work really good. Still got to do some modifications. I've got to cut some of this stuff off and put bungs on it so I can connect it to my water pump there. I've got some of the Hooker exhaust manifolds under there that I'm going to use. That makes everything really nice and simple. The exhaust is going to basically come out and go 90 and go beside the motor, so I'll be able to run exhaust all the way to the back of the car if I want. I may put some cutouts on it just so I can free up a little bit of back pressure, but for the most part I'm going to try to have it run all the way out the back, so when I'm cruising around the car can be super quiet. I'll even have some mufflers on it. Got full accessories on it. It's going to have power steering. Got to change my rack. I got a manual rack on it now, but I'm going to put my power steering rack back on. The K-member, I'm having to change the K-member. I bought a BMR turbo K-member because I need the clearance, because my exhaust is going to come here. I got to cut this off because I don't need that. I got mid plates and motor plates on it, but I'll have to change the K-member just to give me the exhaust clearance, and then I should have plenty of clearance under there. But this is going to be packaged really well. Nothing's going to be super tight. Everything is pretty easy to get to. So far, I'm really impressed. We've been working on this thing for a little over a week now. Actually, most of the work. My boy Brian Zardo has been doing most of the work on it. I'm doing a little bit of stuff today. But it's coming along pretty dang good. By the end of next week, we should have basically all the plumbing done. all of the fuel lines, water lines. Actually, by the end of next week, it almost should be able to crank. Because luckily the car's already been running with another motor, so all the wiring is done, all the fuel system is there. We gotta stick my transmission in. But it's gonna be, I'm building this as a legit street car. This thing is gonna run on E85 or pump gas. You know, most all the stuff I've ever had has always been methanol. I did play with E85 a little bit, but it was non-intercooled. And did good. This car actually went a 529 at 135 with my other motor on E85 non-intercooled. And with a very safe tune-up in it. So with this intercooler, this thing ought to make a ton more power. You see the AC here. Now I've got kind of like some trick stuff going on with that. Although I probably will have that where it can cool the inside of the car too, but one of the main purposes of this intercooler is my water box. I mean, intercooler, my air conditioner pump. My water box in the back, I'm gonna have a evaporator inside the water tank, and that is actually gonna keep my water cool. So while I'm driving around cruising and stuff, that's gonna be pumping the coolant back there and keeping my water cold. So the water's cold all the time. I don't have to add ice in it all the time. I'll probably take ice if I go to the track or something just to cool it down a little bit quicker. But for driving around the street and stuff and playing, that's going to be sweet because I'm not going to have to worry about ice. It'll stay cold. So that's going to be something pretty cool. I'm excited over that. But other than that, that's it. I'll get some more pictures and videos in the next week when we have it almost ready to run. Maybe even have it running, I don't know. But until then,